One day, while working on this book, I attended a talk by a Buddhist monk. I won't identify the monk by his name, as the monastery where he resides responded that he doesn't participate in media interviews, including being interviewed for this book. I hope you'll forgive if my referring to him as the monk gets a bit impersonal. He's thanked in the acknowledgments, if you're curious. At the time, I was knee-deep in the research about where intention arises from. I obviously didn't expect that the monk would have brushed up on this particular topic, and he probably hadn't. Monks tend to look within to find answers, to the causes and effects within the mind, rather than outward to research papers. But as both approaches study causes and effects, it's no surprise that they sometimes arrive at the same results. So, on a whim, I decided to ask him the question I had been pondering. Where do our intentions come from? On the surface, Buddhism and productivity have nothing in common. But at their core, both are about our relationship with intentionality. Becoming more deliberate about our actions lives at the heart of both. This is not a book about Buddhism, of course, though the practice does give us a peek into how we can observe the intentions we set, including through meditative practices, many of which investigate the inner workings of the mind. His answer coincided perfectly with what the research on intentionality has found. Actually, in some ways, he provided a better summary than the research currently can. According to the monk and researchers, intentions arise from the following. Our biology. For example, when we set an intention to make a pit stop at the very next restroom we find while on a road trip. The social environments that we're a part of. For example, when we set an intention to join our friends for a drink after work on Friday night, especially after a stressful week. Our conditioning by family or culture. For example, when we scarf down meals around the dinner table as quickly as our parents used to when we were growing up. Our desire to find happiness and avoid pain. For example, when we set an intention to ask someone out on a first date when we feel the need for companionship in our life. The lessons we have learned in the past. For example, when we set an intention to have a frank conversation with a colleague after we took a workshop about more skillful conversation techniques, and our self-reflective capacity. This is our ability to look within ourselves, to consider the best way to proceed. For example, when we stop to reflect on exactly what we want to get out of a busy week. As you can see, we decide to do things, whether consciously or subconsciously, for a whole host of reasons. On top of the sources of intention within us, there are also characteristics we can have that affect what kinds of intentions and goals we set. For example, those of us who are highly conscientious tend to make more ambitious plans. The more positively you regard yourself, the more competitive you are, and the better your general mood, the more challenging your intentions tend to be as well. While becoming more intentional is the key to goal attainment, it is remarkable how elusive our intentions can be. Examining where our intentions come from is tricky, but fascinating and informative. We set intentions constantly to do everything from tying our shoelaces to starting a business. But a great number of these intentions slip by our notice.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.